welcome to 3-Minute Histology with Jamie Chapman. Today we're going to apply that decision tree which we developed in the last video, which was sort of how you distinguish between the major salivary glands and the pancreas. So we've got an overview of that decision tree here. We've got our solid organs with a connective tissue capsule divided into lobules with ducts, and then we're going to work our way through the decision tree. So we're going to actually use real examples using the virtual microscope here to work through these samples. All right, so let's start our 3 minutes. So in our decision tree, we know that we need to first of all identify that we're actually looking at a section that's a solid organ with a connective tissue capsule, which we can see sort of on the outside here, that's divided into lobules. So we can actually see we've got these connective tissue septa dividing this organ into lobules. So we've got these little lobules here, and that there are ducts within those. And we can't really see that at this magnification, but if we zoom in a little bit, we can actually see that there are ducts here. Okay, so we now then need to ask ourselves questions. First of all, is it an entirely serous gland, or is it a mix of serous and mucous glands? So if we have a look even at this magnification, we can see it's relatively pale staining. So these are actually largely mucous acini. And if we zoom in, we can actually see that any serous component that are present here exists of these little caps of serous cells called serous demileunes. There's another really nice one over here, some more over here. So we're in this part of our decision tree. We're looking at a mixed serous and a mixed acinus. So we've got both serous and mucous acini present. Our next question then, is it mostly serous or mostly mucous? Well, we can see even at this magnification here, we're looking at the mostly mucous gland. This is a section of the sublingual salivary gland. So let's take a look at another one. Here we've got another gland. We're looking at the solid gland. We've got, well, can't really see very much of a connective tissue capsule, but what we can see is that it's divided into lobules. If we zoom in, we can see lots and lots of ducts. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit more. So have a look around. Our question again, is it entirely serous, or is it a mix between serous and mucous acini? Well, you can see there's a lot of serous acini here, very basophilic, but every now and then you might be able to spot these little pockets of mucous acini. So we're actually looking at a mixed serous or mucous acinus. Our question then, is it mostly serous or is it mostly mucous? Well, we can see that it's a mostly serous gland, can't we? And then we've got these little pockets of these mucous acini with the little serous demileunes here. So we're actually looking at a section of the submandibular salivary gland. Let's look at another section. Here, looks like we've got a bit of a mix of serous and maybe mucus, but let's zoom in to have a look in a bit more detail. In fact, what we thought perhaps might have been mucus is actually adipose tissue. And let's zoom around. We see lots of serous, but there's no evidence of any mucus. So we're actually in this part of our decision tree. Our next question, are there islets of Langerhans present? Well, there's no big spherical pale staining regions here, so we're going to say no. This is a section of the parotid salivary gland. Lastly then, we quickly zoom in. This is the pancreas, entirely serous. We've got our islets of Langerhans present. We're looking at a section of the pancreas. So hopefully you can see how this sort of decision tree can help you identify these major glands, and seeing it in application, I hope that helped you out a bit. Thanks.